Um, the real high level is just to be intentional and strategic. So use every departure as an opportunity to assess, not just maintain momentum, and use it as a forcing function for learning and to drive alignment within the organization. So as we go to the next slide, we'll go through a few questions that are helpful in driving this alignment. So first, what did we learn? What worked well about the person's contributions and skill set? Did we find misalignment either in seniority, scope, skills, team fit? Are there gaps that the role exposed during the tenure of the person who's leaving? Do these gaps indicate that we have right processes in place or supporting teams to make them successful? Are there team imbalances that need to be considered that we missed during our initial planning? Is there anything we would do differently during the hiring and interview process? So these questions are all building to the retrospective of, if I could go back in time, what would I do better in bringing this role in person on board? Next question is more about what changed during the tenure. So how has the context changed? How has the team evolved since we originally created this role? How did our business priorities change? Have dependencies or workflows shifted? Do I have the team capacity to support this role during onboarding and help them be successful? Taken together, questions 1 and 2 serve as a solid foundation for a retro of the role. But we don't drive looking in our rearview mirrors. We should also consider the future needs for our teams, and that's what we get to in the next few questions. Number 3, I think Taylor hit on a little bit and is really important, which is what actually needs doing. Are there new skills or capabilities that the team needs? Can we break the role into discrete work streams, not job descriptions? Of the tasks that need to be done, which require deep institutional knowledge versus specialized expertise? How much of the work is ongoing versus project-based? And then which responsibilities could be distributed, automated, or eliminated? These questions are all different ways of digging into the what problem are we actually trying to solve. A backfill is a very specific solution, but if you don't have clarity around the problem or the opportunity, then the solution may not fit no matter how well you execute. Once we align on the opportunity, then we should take a little time to ask ourselves if a backfill is the best solution to that problem. Question 4 helps us do this by looking at alternative solutions that may fit better. So what's the optimal talent mix? Is it full-time employee for core ongoing work? Is it part-time for specialized or seasonal needs? Should we consider a contractor or consultant if it's more project-based or if there's scarce expertise? Or do we need to come together with a combination approach that mixes some, where maybe we make the role more junior and we get a senior advisor fractionally? So once we have a good problem and solution, the final step is really to look at prioritization. In my experience in planning, most of the challenge is not spent on understanding if a choice in isolation is good or bad. It's the choice relative to the other investments of time and capital that we have available. And the same is true for hiring. So is there a better use of these resources? If you had zero budget constraints, where would you invest it? Are there higher impact gaps elsewhere in the organization that you could address now that this role is open? Could redistributing the headcount accelerate strategic priorities? And what would unlock more value, replacement or reallocation? So with these questions, as we move to the next slide, we'll move into kind of how I think about the decision tree from these questions. If all 5 questions are pointing towards direct replacement, it's pretty simple: backfill with a similar profile and try to do a better job in terms of the hiring process and the onboarding process to make the next person even more successful. If you have mixed signals, consider alternative talent models or an adjusted scope of the role. And if you have significant misalignment, it's probably time to stop and pause and get alignment before you move forward. So you can redesign, you can reallocate, but the ultimate goal would be to drive alignment before you actually try to open a hiring process. And all these things together are really trying to get the organization to shift the underlying mindset from maintaining headcount to optimizing capacity. So being proactive and thinking about what work needs to get done instead of just writing job descriptions. Be a little bit more open to alternative solutions, so it's not just backfill with more full-time people, and really just moving from how do we maintain momentum to like how do we use this as an opportunity to evolve and to get better as an organization.